And as we create more and more technological marvels, how do we make sure they're used for good and not evil? All that and much more on this edition of The Truth About Money.
This program is funded in part by TD Ameritrade. At TD Ameritrade, we support investors and independent registered investment advisors every day, providing access to tools, research, and educational resources that help you pursue your goals with confidence.
I'm Ed Burns. I've spent a lot of time around cameras. However, I've never actually swallowed one before. Till now. It's a camera the size of a pill that lets your doctor see inside of you. That's kind of awesome.
Technology is evolving. We believe the way to invest should evolve as well. A prospectus is available at 1-800-iShares, which includes investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information that you should read and consider carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal.
I'm Ric Edelman. The best investment is the one you make in yourself, and that means getting an education. So if you're saving for college, the best way to save just makes dollars and cents.
Hi, Rick. My name's Kathy. This is my husband, Bruce, and my son, Duncan. And so my question is this. We've got a 529. We've got some other retirement accounts, but what's going to be the best way for us to save money for my son to go to college?
Kathy, you're already doing it. You have a 529 account for your son, and that's exactly what you should be doing. A 529 account is the best way to save for college. A 529 account is called a college savings account. Under the law, all the money that goes into the account grows without any annual taxes. And when you withdraw the money in the future for college, all that money can come out, all the profits, completely tax-free. Nowhere else can you have an unlimited amount of money grow without any taxes. And it gets even better. You can use the money for any college, anywhere in the world. You can use the money for all college expenses, not just tuition, but also room and board, books, computers, pretty much everything except travel. And if the child ends up not needing the money because he's so bright he doesn't need it, he's going to get a grant and a scholarship, you can leave the money there and give it to another child in the family. You could even leave the money there for your son's children another generation later. Nowhere else does it have this much flexibility. Keep in mind, if you don't use the money for college and you later pull it out for non-college costs, you'll pay taxes plus a 10% penalty. So this really is designed for college. What you want to do is save as much as possible into that account, up to a limit. We generally recommend that you stop at about $50,000 or $60,000. We don't want you to fund too much into the account because of the risk of incurring taxes and penalties if you don't use it all for school. A good financial planner can help you figure out which 529 plan is best and how much money you should be contributing to it, and how much depends on what kind of college your child is going to go to and whether grad school is in your child's future as well. But bottom line is, you're doing the right thing. A 529 plan is the best way to save for college. From California's movie studios to New York's theater district, we recently asked just one question, Celebrity Edition. How do you invest your money?
I've lost most of mine. I go to Vegas once in a while, so I'm working there now almost steadily. No, I never was in on that grab as much as you can get and stay there.
What do you do if you've saved for a child's college, but the kid doesn't want to go? I got that question at a recent seminar in Frederick, Maryland.
I have 2 children and 6 grandchildren, and through the years I've saved investments enough to help my grandchildren to go to college. And I have one grandchild that is in the Marines now, and he attended a finance seminar with his parents, and he learned that if he started putting money in a 401k now, that would help him in his retirement. So he plans not to go to college. So he knew I was helping my grandkids to go to college. He suggested to me that I help him out with a 401k at 18, 19 years of age to put his money there to get him started on his retirement now. So what my question is, where do I put that? Thinking that he will not be watching those funds, is a target dated fund a good place to put the money, or what do you suggest?
So you're comfortable with using the money you would have spent on his college education into a savings plan instead? You're good with that?
Yes.
Couple of points. One, there are limits as to how much money can be contributed into a retirement account on an annual basis. He needs to be earning an income, and there is a limit as to how much money can go into his 401k where he works. If he's in the military, he has the thrift savings plan available, and so there's a limited amount of money that can go into it, and also into an IRA. So the amount of money that you can contribute is probably not as much as what you would have contributed to college. So you need to evaluate how best to accomplish this. An alternative is to establish a RIC trust, which is a retirement planning vehicle for grandparents to use for the benefit of children and grandchildren. It is a retirement planning vehicle that will let you put the money aside, that the money will sit there until the child reaches retirement age. The alternative is to just set up an investment account. In fact, there are two alternatives. One is to set up an investment account in his name, you making annual gifts. You are limited under tax law as to how much money you can gift him on an annual basis. Or you could do something else. Leave the money invested in your name and make a notation in your will that says if you die before he reaches retirement age, he gets this block of money. So he doesn't get it now, he'll get it later. That shouldn't be a problem because he doesn't want it now, he wants it later. And if you're still alive when he retires, which you very well may be, you can just give him the money then at your option. So you don't have to give him the money now. You can do so if you wish, and you simply establish a brokerage account or a mutual fund account or an investment account of some kind and open the account and invest it for him. And here's another question from my seminar.
So I have a young son, Brian, who's just started his first real post-college job, and he has a steady paycheck coming in. Yay, I'm a happy dad. But because I was bad at college planning, he now has student loan debt carrying an interest rate akin to a used car loan. So my question, as someone in their 20s, is he better off to be making contributions to his own personal retirement account, or should he divert that money to accelerate payoff of his student loan?
Great question, Dad. We have competing interests in our lives. So how do we resolve the competing interests? There is a specific methodology to follow, and here it is. It's 4 steps. Step number 1 is for your son to be contributing to his retirement account at work to the maximum he's permitted on a pre-tax basis. That is step number 1. And the reason it's step number 1, even before all the other steps, and you know that one of the other steps includes elimination of debt, this comes before that for one simple reason. You will always have debt. You just will. Life is filled with debt. It just is. Sometimes you get to pay off the debt by the end of the month, but still, you're going to use the credit card during the month building a debt. And sometimes things unexpectedly happen and you don't pay the bill off at the end of the month. Sometimes we don't pay the bill off for years and we accumulate credit card balances, or we have car loans, or we have mortgages, or student loans. Stuff happens in life because of these competing influences, and so there's always going to be debt. And if you wait to save for college until after you've paid off the debts, guess what? You will never save for retirement. So start saving for retirement now. Don't let any excuse interfere with your goal of saving for retirement, because the most powerful weapon you have in wealth creation is what? It's not money and it's not interest rate, it's time. The sooner you save, the more wealth you create, period. And you'll either discover that at age 22, fresh out of college, like you will instill in Brian, or you'll discover it at 54, at which point you'll say to me at the end of the seminar, I wish I'd started 20 years earlier. Step number 2 is get rid of the debt. Now, I'm going to put debt into several categories. Credit card debt, consumer debt, as opposed to car loans, mortgage loans, student loans. Those loans are healthy debt. They are good debt. The reason they are good debt is because they help you not only accomplish some of your goals today, but they help you achieve future goals later. Homes over 30 years rise in value. They are an asset. They are also a nice place to live. Cars enable you to work. They enable you to be productive in society. Without a car, you're probably not going to be able to be as productive and have the career that you otherwise would have. Cars are of value to us. Even though the asset itself dwindles, we know the value of an automobile. And college is the ultimate investment in yourself. So credit card debt, get rid of them immediately. That is not healthy debt. It is not good debt. Step number 3 is to build cash reserves. 12 to 24 months worth of spending in a bank account, money market account, checking, savings, bank CD, a rainy day fund. 12 to 24 months worth of spending. And step number 4 is to then take additional money that you accumulate and build an investment portfolio that will be able to help you achieve other goals like buying a car or a house or paying for a wedding or what have you. So those are the 4 steps in that order.
Great, thanks.
True or false? All your medical expenses in retirement will be paid by Medicare. Think about it, and we'll be right back with the answer.
Killer robots and drone attacks from the sky. How can we keep autonomous machines from attacking humans physically and financially? Singularity University's Rob Nail gives us the answer.
I'm actually an engineer and an entrepreneur. I started a company building robotics and automation equipment for scientific research, drug discovery, and cancer research. The biggest message that I want to get out to the world really is about an awareness of the breakthrough technologies that are here today and happening, and the potential implications those are having on our businesses, our industries, our personal lives, society as a whole. So a lot of the new breakthroughs in synthetic biology, for example, reverse engineering organisms. There's a lot of ethical, moral considerations that really aren't being discussed because people don't understand where technology is today.
So how can ordinary folks listening to you right now, how can we do that? How can we learn more? How do we get more aware of these issues?
Well, the first thing is to actually rethink about what technology is and what it's capable of, and get involved with the conversation. I think that's the biggest thing that we're hoping as an outcome of this university. We're trying to put more content online. We have the Singularity Hub, which is our online media platform we're just showcasing all the coolest, latest, and greatest breakthroughs that are happening, showcasing a lot of the things that our faculty are thinking about. Mostly just say, hey, this new thing is happening. You guys should know about it. You should just check it out. And then start that dialogue. And instead of being afraid of a new education platform that's online, disrupting teachers and teachers' jobs, which is a real consideration that we need to talk about. Think about actually what the opportunity is with that. Because now a teacher can be something different. A teacher can be a guide or somebody that helps a student find their passion and their real calling in life and point them to the tools, which is what we're building. We're building optimized tools for learning. Have the teacher, the human teacher, be the one that really is a mentor for those students.
Instead of just a lecturer.
Instead of a lecturer, exactly.
So the key is to embrace the technology in beneficial ways for society.
Yep. Again, this is really why we're all here at this university. The best example of that is the climate crisis, right? For 100 years, we've been developing technologies to just sort of bring more energy for cheaper without thinking of the potential implications on the environment and ecological systems. And now, many years later, we're realizing, there's some problems with what we were doing. Now, take that to some of the synthetic biology technologies and other things that we're doing. We've got some big hurdles to overcome and some considerations.
Talk about the notion of the public policy issues, the ethical issues.
The one specifically around policy that I'd like to just throw out is in California, the governor, Jerry Brown, pushed through a fast track of the high-speed rail system between San Francisco and LA. And it took advantage of the federal funding. It's like $70 billion it's slated for this project. And you can imagine how long it's going to take to do a high-speed rail between San Francisco and LA. All the counties are already bickering about a new rail going through their county. This is going to take 20 years, at least, right? Well, what's interesting is that project is already so far out of date and obsolete because of things like the Google autonomous car, right? This is the one that I'm surprised how many people don't realize that there's literally autonomous cars driving all over the road. Why was the autonomous car not considered in this new policy, right? So we have the availability, and every car manufacturer today in the next 3 to 5 years will have fully autonomous systems capability. Even Cadillac has said by 2015 they'll have fully autonomous systems. So today we could paint a white stripe down Highway 101 and allow, in 3 years, allow autonomous vehicles to do 150 miles an hour down that road. It's fully flexible and no additional infrastructural cost. We should be thinking about what technology is capable of today. We need to educate our policymakers. And probably one of the most important things to happen right now is to actually start this public discourse about the potential of these technologies and what we can do with them.
Rob, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
True or false? All your medical expenses in retirement will be paid by Medicare. The answer is false. You can expect to pay about 14% of your medical expenses, costing nearly $400,000 over the course of your retirement.
Financial advisors like me work to help you build a better financial future. And each week, Anderson Wozni and Brandon Corso join me on the radio to help people find solutions to their money matters. Hello, Bob. How are you?
You got your boxing gloves on because I'm going to get beat up on this, I think.
Okay, go right ahead.
Let me give you some background here. I bought property out of state in North Carolina back in 2004. I'm underwater on it, over $100,000, or right at the $100,000 mark, I'll put it that way. Recently, it's on a balloon note. It was up for refinancing in October of 2012, and I've been all over this bank, which assumed the previous bank's loans, and I'm in the process of refinancing now, and I finally got a commitment from them. However, I've got some real questions about it. They want to give me a 2-year note on it at 5% on $98,000 roughly. And it's without.
Well, really Bob, I want to stop you right there. Is this a rental property?
No. These are building lots.
Building lots. And what makes you think that you're going to have these building lots grow in value in the near future?
Well, they're not, because they're underwater. I've lost probably approximately $45,000 on each of them.
So why don't you just walk away?
Well, I don't know that I can. Is that a possibility? That's one of my questions.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Yes, you can certainly walk away, but what's the implication on you from a credit record perspective and a liability perspective we would need to determine. So the short answer is yes, it makes sense to try to refinance the mortgages if you can, and it's going to be difficult to do this because the mortgage ability depends on the current mortgage outstanding relative to the current market value of the lots and so on. But we need to engage in a much greater depth here to figure out if just walking away is the thing you need to do. And that raises a whole nother question of ethics. Yeah. How many people have walked away from mortgages simply because, I bought it, it dropped in value, I'll stick it to the lender by making them take the property back. There are lots of layers here to this issue and conversation.
And you probably need another good bit of information in order to really lay it to him.
That's true. And although I have my boxing gloves with me, I left my baseball bat in the car, and so I need to...
Well, and we didn't clarify from Bob, but I suspect he was anticipating you'd beat him up for buying the properties in the first place. I suspect he bought them either speculating that they'd grow in value or in advance of thinking he might build for retirement. And I think the lesson here is real estate can fall in value. You need to be careful anytime you buy something, and I think that's the lesson.
And I'll add an additional lesson as well. Investment strategy isn't about buying something we think will do well. It's about building a portfolio designed to achieve our goals. And we would have asked, from a goals perspective, is owning a piece of raw land in a state hundreds or thousands of miles away the proper thing to do? I mean, there's lots of raw land in your own backyard. To have to go across the state line raises all kinds of issues as well. So yeah, Bob, lots of opportunity for us to beat you up. I promise not to do it too badly, though. We really want to help you get out of the situation that you're in, and we'll spend time with you to figure that out. Most comedians don't have much in the bank, but these comedians sure bank a lot of laughs.
I think my mom's trying to make up for when I was a kid growing up, though. My mom was a thrifty woman, man. I'll tell you right now. You guys have thrifty moms out here? I was the youngest of 4 kids. Every year, she'd take me back to school shopping in my brother's room. I try to complain. She'd be like, don't be silly. That's a perfectly good sweater. It was your grandmother's.
If you could ask a financial planner just one question, what would it be? Here's one we get all the time. What do you wish clients would do more often?
Well, I think it's always important to make a balance between saving and focusing on your money and having a life and enjoying yourselves. Life is not just about the money. And what I try to tell people to do is if you get a raise, reward yourself. Give yourself a little bit of extra income to spend. But take some of that raise and increase what you're saving. So you're always rewarding yourself for the good times and also keeping up with your long-term goals.
The most successful people are the ones who actually have a vision for retirement. They can see what they're doing, where they're living, and they have a good sense of how much money they need to get there. The ones who have the hardest time are the ones who just can't even envision it.
I wish they would spend more time with the finances in front of them, looking at it, reviewing it with their spouses, reviewing it with the financial planner, having a better idea of where they are. A lot of times when I see people the first time, they don't even know where they are. They don't know what's in their 401k, how it's invested, how much life insurance I have. What happens if my spouse dies? What happens if I lose my job? What happens if we can't work and earn a living? We need to know these questions so we can have them answered and be prepared.
That's good advice. If you have a vision of the future, it helps you focus on getting to that future. And as my wife and author Jean shows us in The Other Side of Money, focusing on what you can control in life is what makes all the difference.
There's so much going on in our day-to-day that we cannot control. The only thing in life that we really can control is how we react and our emotions. And so our emotions get fed by the drama of the day.
This is a mess. I come home from work, I'm exhausted. The place is an absolute mess.
And so the first thing I would recommend to try to control a little bit more is to turn things off. Turn off the TV and stop reading the paper for a little bit. A lot of what creates the stress in the day and the emotion of the day and the drama of the day is things that are on our calendar. What I try to do is really look at all of my commitments and break them down into categories. Family, friends, business, community, schools. And I try to not overdo in any one category. And that's a nice way to put a little bit more control in your calendar. The best way to gain a little bit of control and to break things down into maybe smaller bites is to say no. You know, we don't have to do everything. You know, people would love for us to volunteer and they'd love us to be here or there, but really examine your commitments and really examine, do you need to be where you're being asked to be? You're the master in command. You're steering the boat and you're telling the boat where it needs to go and how much time you're spending in each port. So, you know, that's a very empowering thing.
Thanks, Jean, for reminding us that this TV show is more personal than finance. And that's our show for today. I'm Ric Edelman for The Truth About Money. See you next time. To learn more about the topics we discussed on this episode and a chance to ask your questions, visit our website at truthaboutmoneytv.com. And stay connected by liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter.